Yes. Advisory note. The rules intend to prescribe minimum amount of discovery to which the parties are entitled. Where doubt exists as to the usefulness of the evidence to the defendant, the government can resolve all such doubts in favor of full disclosure. Yes. You know, the thought that you never have to admit exculpatory evidence even after the case is dismissed, yeah, it could be some sort of fraudulent thinking on the part of those. The truth of the matter is, according to the court sua sponte, directs the government produce to defendant in a timely manner any evidence in its possession that is favorable to the defendant. And material either to the defendant having to appear in court, having to have mental health evaluations, having to have cases dismissed where you said you see, the government's responsibility includes producing, during plea negotiations, any exculpatory evidence. Now, this government that I don't trust, yes, you think it's delusional that I sent you 2,300,000 emails documenting, yes, that you've always had the evidence. Now, today, you're getting sued because I requested for a year and a half, yes, that you admit the evidence that I wasn't in Sequim, Washington. I wasn't in Brennan, Washington. Yeah. I wasn't cyber stalking. I never emailed Brennan or the Quilcene school districts, and I did not have to go to court all those times right now. Now, for every idiot fuck that thinks that I'm not going to sue, it's a lot worse today than it was yesterday. You know, not requesting, that's quite a liability. But proving in a court of law that I did request hundreds of thousands of times that you admit the evidence. Now, for example, the government must produce documents as they are kept in the usual course of business. Did you get an email from me? Oh, and you had to organize every communication from myself. Now, for all of those in government that just thought, well, we'll just say the guy's crazy. Where was I at on December 31st of 2015? You thought that since you could dismiss the case and saying I'm incompetent, that you were not obligated to admit the evidence that I wasn't in Sequim, Washington. You thought you'd just dismiss the case and say I was incompetent when you had the evidence I wasn't in Brennan, Washington. In fact, when it's 2 million emails, you thought that you never had to admit the exculpatory evidence. I requested you to do it. Now, today, why don't you give the judge the evidence that I wasn't in Sequim? The judge can reverse his decision to dismiss the case without prejudice because of the alleged incompetence. Because you did have the bus video camera surveillance footage. Yes. You had the log from the Serenity House. Yes. And you have the video camera surveillance from Hagen's at 9 a.m. Then you have the emails that I sent from the Port Angeles Library from 10 to 5 p.m. Now, since we know I wasn't in Sequim at 7:47 a.m., and we know I wasn't there at 4:48 p.m., we know that you've intentionally committed fraud, obstruction of justice, color of law violations, and depriving me the enjoyment of my life because you just could not understand how much larger the lawsuit is today than it was yesterday. See, I'm the accused in all of this. Ordinarily maintained, electronically stored information. Now, why don't we call all the civil rights coordinators? Why don't we call all the mandatory reporters? Yes. Every person in law enforcement in every state of the United States and ask them, you're liable.